Today we're going to be making dough for naan bread. So thanks for viewing. Please subscribe, comment, ask me any questions. A lot of people have been asking me a lot of questions. I've been helping a lot of people in the last few months, and I hope my advice has helped them. So let's get cooking. Okay guys, so we've got some ingredients here. We do it fairly basic. Some people put other stuff in. But this is exactly how we do it in the restaurant. Now to make the dough, it's not very difficult. But the harder process is probably actually making the naan. You're going to need, this is for about 5-6 naan breads. So we've got roughly about 200 ml of full fat milk, about 1 kilo of self-raising flour, a couple of sprinkles of salt, 500 ml of water. Now about 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. We've got a couple of sprinkles of Nigella Seeds, and then you've got sugar, about 2.5 teaspoons of sugar. Sugar's important, it gives you that kind of sweet taste. That's all you really need. Some people put eggs in, we don't, but you can put an egg in if you really want. But yeah, so we're now ready to go. So you get a separate bowl. Your self-raising will go in later, so you won't need that for the moment. So here goes the salt, Nigella Seeds, sugar. Doesn't matter which order you put them in, you're just going to mix them. Baking powder, and then I'm just going to put about half of the water in. I'm unsure if I'm going to need it all. When we mix it with the self-raising, we can add more water as we go along. And the milk, of course. You need a spoon. Some people would use a whisker. Anything that's just going to help mix it, really. You want the sugar and the flour and the baking powder, all just to mix nicely in. So yeah, you just mix it a couple of times until you know, like a cup of tea when you mix the sugar in to the tea. Make sure everything's mixed in. Okay, like I said, I haven't made such a small quantity ever, but it shouldn't be too much different. A lot of people have trouble upscaling, and they ask me, how do I upscale? I have trouble downscaling because we've just gone, we've gone from making so much, and then now I'm doing these videos to make such a small amount to show you guys at home. So okay, so that's probably mixed in now. It's ready. Okay, so we've got a separate bowl now. So 1 kilo of the self-raising goes in. So now we're going to put all this in there as well. And then you wash your hands, and we're going to knead it now. Knead it together. I can already see I'm probably going to need a bit more water, but you see it's coming together. A bit more water. What you want to do is you want to punch it together, and you want to make sure you've got one big kind of lump. It's coming together now. You want to get one lump together. That's it. So it's coming together. Can you see it's like one big kind of lump together. What you want to do, you don't want to have any flour really showing. You want to make sure that's all mixed in. Vice versa, if you put too much water in, just add a little bit more flour in there, so it's not too wet. It needs to be fairly dry. I can feel it's slightly moist, so I'm just going to add a little handful of flour in there. And if you look here, there's a little bit of flour. You want to get rid of that. So that looks about done to me. Going to be like one big dough here. The lovely Nigella Seeds in there. And it's one big dough now. and you won't be able to use that straight away. It needs a resting period. Normally in the restaurant we'll give it 24 hours, but a lot of people told me 5-6 hours. If we're a little bit in a rush, 5-6 hours should do it. Now, to store it so it doesn't stick, some people get another bowl and they put a little bit of oil and they put it on top. What we just do is we just kind of put it in a bucket, but it's got to be sealed. So you've got to put cling film over it. It can't have any sort of air going in. So what I've done is I made one earlier and I've put it just in a plastic bag. It's been about 24 hours, I think. Like I said, you can do it in 5 hours, I believe. You can store it in the fridge for a few days. Normally we could store it for a few days and we make the dough as we kind of go along. So you have a clean surface area. Put some flour on there so it doesn't stick on. So you can see it hasn't really stuck onto the bag. Little bits here and there. So what you want to do is you want to prepare now to make your naan. So you're cooking it. So we make the ball. So we've got like a ball, sort of like a tennis ball shape. You put a little bit of self-raising flour in there. You kind of curl it up. You want to get everything prepared as much as you can. This is how you prepare it. So we usually use a stainless steel tray. Put a bit of flour on there. Get a ball, make it into a ball, and you leave that on there. So I'm just going to make about 3. Probably got enough here to make about 6, 7, but I'm not going to make them all. So eventually in the restaurant, we have them like this. So they're ready for us now. We just can pinch one off and make it straight away. So we will have these in the fridge ready. It's important to keep it in the fridge, keep it fresh. And then when we are running out, it's important to take it out of the fridge and give it a little bit of a period outside before you put it in. So if it's in the fridge and we make the dough, it's in the fridge and we try and put it in the tandoor straight away, it's not going to work. So a little bit when the tandoori chef gets to a point where it's sort of like halfway or 3/4, he'll get another tray out and leave it outside. Just to get a bit warmer. So there you have it, guys. How to make naan dough. Today we're going to be making spiced minced meat, otherwise known as keema. So it's used in sheikh kebabs, rashmi kebabs. It's also used in keema naans. We do put it in some of our curries as well. So it's spiced minced meat basically. So I know a lot of you have been asking me to kind of list the ingredients, which I'll do in my description, but I'll put it here as well. So spiced minced meat, otherwise known as keema. 1 kilo minced meat we're going to be making. 2 teaspoons of salt. 3 teaspoons of garlic and ginger paste. 1.5 teaspoons of desi style mixed powder. 1.5 teaspoons of tandoori paste. 1/2 teaspoon of Kashmiri paste. 2 teaspoons of red colour. We may go up and down on this. I've never made such a small amount. So this is just a guide for now, but while I make it, I'm going to see, for example, the colour, if there's enough in there or not. So yeah, we're going to start off with a kilo mincemeat. So we've got 1 teaspoon. I think 1.5 would do it. You don't want to overkill it. I've put 2, but I think 1.5 will actually do it. Then you've got 3 tablespoons of garlic and ginger paste. Probably make that up to about 4 actually. And then you've got your Desi Star mix powder. Got 1.5. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't matter which order you put it in. It really makes no difference. So then we have our Tandoori Paste. All Indian restaurants use these. And our Kashmiri Tandoori 1.5. Kashmiri is extremely strong, so you want to put less. You know, you're better off putting less than more. So just sort of like a 1/2 teaspoon. So we've got red food colouring here. You don't have to use this. It does nothing to the taste. We just use it to make it look a bit attractive, but some people don't really like food colouring much, so you don't have to really put it. But we as a restaurant, we do put it. So I've got 1 teaspoon there, and then 2. I may need more, but I'm just checking when I need it. If I may need more, but I'm not sure at the moment. I've got everything mixed in there. Like I said, it doesn't matter which order you put it in, it's all going to get mixed up. And then I've got gloves on, there's a reason why, and then you just knead it all together. So I'll put another teaspoon in there of red colouring. Just got to make sure it's all mixed together. And you can tell when it's mixed together because the colouring is a lot. It's more even everywhere. You don't have any blotches of one colour. So once you've kneaded it a little bit, then you can add a sprinkle of coriander in there and some kasuri methi. Just a sprinkle really would do it. This is mainly for the smell. Kasuri methi. And then mix that in as well. Doesn't take long to mix it in. So you want quite a nice reddish colour. And that's done. So there you have it. Keema spiced minced meat. Today I'm going to show you at home how to make a Keema Naan bread. Quite popular, I've had quite a few requests for this. So I'm basically going to show you how to put the spiced minced meat into the naan. I'm going to make this user-friendly for your house. So we're not going to do the tandoor, we're just going to do it for the house. And thanks for subscribing, commenting and liking. So let's get cooking. Okay, so I've got some self-raising flour on a clean surface. You've got this beautiful naan dough. It's a little bit more complex than a plain naan because you've got to put the keema inside, stuffed. So what you need to do is you've got your board dough of naan, and then you're just kind of doing this, opening it up to like a bowl kind of shape. Yeah. So you're just literally putting pressure on the edges and creating a bit of space to put the keema in. It's very important that you don't put too much keema in. If you put too much in, once you roll it, the meat's going to come out from all around the edges. So little is better than too much. So we've got it there, and now what we're doing is we're just covering it up. You see there, just covered that keema up. so you can't see it. Very important you get your back flat as well, otherwise the keema is going to come out the back. So now we've just, you see, I've just made it flat. You're going to have little bits of red here, that doesn't matter, it's the main bit that's inside, you don't want that coming out. So I'm just going to add a little bit more flour. Get that correct. And I'm just rolling it evenly. Can you see a little bit of the keema is starting to come out? It should be fine. Yeah, as long as you don't have massive chunks of the keema coming out, whereas the whole naan is just going to fall apart. So I've rolled it. Now, if you're quite advanced, you've seen my other video, then you know you can put some oil on there, use the your palm, make it a little bit bigger, and then flick it in between your thumb to make it bigger. But I'm not going to do that for this one. This is just going to be a basic one for people. But others, if you can, then by all means use the other method. But the other methods are a little bit more skillful. Just made it bigger, made it round. Right, so you can see the lovely keema inside. Nice spiced keema. This keema goes in sheet kebab, goes in Keema Naan, it goes in some curries. So it's quite versatile in what we use it for. Okay, so we now got that. I haven't put any oil on there. Normally at tandoor, if I'm using a tandoor, I put oil, but as you've seen probably from my other video, if you get oil at the back, it's not going to stick. So if you're very new, don't put any oil in. Just leave it without oil. You might get a little bit of kind of the flour on top. So we've got a tawa, remember? We need a tawa. And that is going to act like a tandoor, the back piece. So we're going to get a little bit of water, make sure it sticks on. So we've just got a little bit of water, and we're just slapping it on. You can do this to the edges to make it slightly bigger, more even. So that should be bubbling up like a tandoori would. Now it's starting to bubble up nicely. We don't want to leave it too much at the back because we know the back will get burnt. Now the difference between a plain and a keema's got raw meat, so I would say to put the gas down and then leave this bit for at least a few minutes. I should think about 3-4 minutes. Let it cook the meat. With any other breads, garlic, Kashmiri plain, you don't have that because it hasn't got raw meat. When you do slow gas, you can go right close to it. So as you can see, I'm very close to the flame. But if it was on high gas, it would just burn the top of the naan. What you want to do is, you see around here, it's not done. This bit's a bit burnt, but it's okay because, like I said, it's meat in there. I want to make sure it's done. Okay, so that should be ready now. So just grab a spatula. Slowly just dig into there. As you see, the bottom's fine. That's done. We're just going to add some ghee. Karnam ghee is the best brand there. Most Indian restaurants use. Cutting it now in half. Quarter. So there you go, as you can see, the meat is cooked now. It's not raw. If it's raw, you can see that texture, you know raw minced meat. That's now come all into one. There you have it, the lovely bits of keema in there. Almost like a very thin layer of a burger. You know, it's a very thin layer of a burger, and you've got the bread. It's really nice. You can put cheese on top, you can do quite a lot with it, but there you go. For all you Keema Naan lovers, I've definitely had a lot of requests for this. There you have it, a lovely Keema Naan bread.